eating or just, I'm still eating breakfast, so I'm just chilling at the table because Jake made me coffee, and coffee takes me forever to drink because I like to wait until it's cooled off. I don't have to have iced coffee, but I like lukewarm coffee. I don't like super hot stuff. It doesn't, and that's spicy or just like temperature-wise. I just can't handle it either way. So I'm just hanging out at the table for a little bit. Anyway, so this week wedding-wise, this has been more of a lull week, which is fine, and those are nice to have. I asked a friend of mine to do a reading at the wedding. We picked a reading that I think is getting a little more popular. It's All I Know About Love by Neil Gaiman. And it was poignant to me because I've been reading a lot of Neil Gaiman lately. I read all the Sandman books, I've read Coraline, I've read the Graveyard Book. Basically anything I could find at the library, I've just devoured it. And I'm trying to find like some of the other ones. I don't know if I usually am a half-price book sort of person. I'm not as much a Barnes & Noble sort of person, but we'll see if I can find them one of these days. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm just like, oh, my teeth look so straight. The camera. But this friend of mine is super, I don't know if she's super into Neil Gaiman or if it's Coraline specifically, I know she loves, and so I really wanted her to do the reading, but I wasn't sure how she'd feel about public speaking. So when I asked her, I prefaced it like 4 times, like, you do not have to do this. I know public speaking is hard, but she said yes, so I'm very excited. It kind of stinks. So I have 6 bridesmaids, well, 5 bridesmaids and a maid of honor, but this friend is one of those people who I considered being a bridesmaid. And then the venue said you can only do so many, and she was basically the only one I hadn't asked yet. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I just won't ask. And then, you know, later we find out the venue's like, oh, they could be more flexible with how many people they could seat at the head table. And I was like, well, crap. I'd feel bad asking her at this point after I've already asked everybody else. Like, she would just think she was an afterthought, probably. Maybe she wouldn't, I don't know, but it's one of those things I've been kicking myself for since I decided to just not ask her, but I'm glad she gets to be part of it somehow, because I'm inviting her to she's basically a bridesmaid without the dress. I don't know, I feel bad, like, that it feels like she's just a step below, but she's not, but I would just feel bad making her buy a dress at this point, and like asking her at this point, so I just asked her to read, which honestly works out well, and I probably still could. I don't know, it's a finicky thing. And then Jake's like, oh, well, then I need to ask again. I was like, well, you wouldn't have to. We wouldn't have to have even sides, but he would rather have even sides too, so I'm very happy that she's gonna read at the wedding. My maid of honor, she asked me about when to have the bridal shower, so we have that set. We're going to have it at my parents' house, so pretty much any day was fine. It was more her schedule. She has a more difficult schedule than other people, I believe. Like, she only was able to give me like 3 dates that possibly worked for her, and one was the weekend before the bachelorette party, and I was like, no, hard no. That would have been like very last option, because considering where the majority of people live, they would have to either be like, they would be driving like the opposite direction for the bachelorette going home, and then like the next week I'm driving the other way to get to my parents' house. Like, there's no, it just didn't seem fair to those people. Like, and some are closer to my parents so that the bridal shower would be easy. Some are closer to the bachelorette so the bachelorette would be easy. But doing that 2 weeks in a row is not, like, I just don't want to make anybody drive more than they need to. So that was out. Another week was in September, but that's like, you know, like a month from the wedding. I didn't really want to do it that close. That just seemed a little too close for comfort. And also it's just like, I think she said like September 11th, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it on that day. That's a little, sorry I cut myself off because I got a text from my sister. That's one con of using your phone for these things. But I had to take a break to eat this banana cornbread, and oh my god, this is amazing. I need to do this more often. I basically made it because generally if I put bananas in the freezer when they go bad, and generally I make banana bread. But I was like, well, I should do something else. And then I found one. We have a bunch of cornmeal too that always goes bad because we basically just use it like under the crust of pizza, and that's it. So it's like, oh, we use like 4 teaspoons of cornmeal, and now we just have to like chuck it because it's a year expired. So this is something new, and I really am enjoying it. So maybe I'll put the link down below if anybody wants to try this. I think it's great, especially with honey on top. What was I talking about? Oh, so yeah, the September 11th date. So I'm an American, so there's, you know, there's significance to that date. So if it was something where we needed to book a venue or something and we like couldn't help it, that's something different. Like, I know some people have gotten married on September 11th, and that I'm just kind of like, well, if that was the only date left, like 2022 has been like crazy to find a date for a wedding. Like, I know this makes me sound terrible, but some friends of ours actually, like, so they got married during COVID, and they're doing their reception, and we kind of lost track of when their like later reception would be. And so it turns out our wedding is going to be the week before their wedding reception, and I feel terrible about it, and I've apologized to them more than once about it. But it was just, there weren't really any other options for us. I mean, we could have waited till like next year, but we just didn't want to do like a November, December wedding like that. That's just not what we wanted. And everything else was basically booked up. I think the other date that was open was like the weekend of my cousin's wedding, and I don't want to do that to my family. Like, he's having a Friday wedding, but still, it's like, oh, go to his wedding on Friday and then come to ours on Saturday. Like, that would suck. Or like, maybe the weekend after that was open too, but that's just a lot of wedding for one family. There are a lot of noises in this kitchen. Maybe this is why I don't film over here. I keep trying to find a good place to film, but it's just, I've never seemed to find a spot that has like good lighting and also isn't very, very noisy. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this. I get sidetracked so bad. But we have the wedding shower at my parents' house. It's gonna be in July sometime. I forgot the day. And Brittany just confirmed that with me. And she was also asking, like, she kind of had me panic because she's like, oh, when's the other bridal shower? Like, because Jake's mom mentioned they might throw one, but they haven't said anything to me about it, and they just kind of said it in passing. So I'm not really, like, fully expecting it, I suppose. Like, I am, but I'm not, like, gonna ask them about it. Like, if it comes up sort of thing. So part of me is like, well, what if she asks? So she was asking when it would be because she didn't want a conflict. But I was like, well, I don't want to, like, ask them because I don't want them to think that, like, oh, they have to do this if they change their minds and don't want to do it anymore. But it's fine. I'm sure she said she just already asked, so not to worry about it. She said, sorry for making you worried. And I'm just like, don't worry, I'm always worrying. That's just kind of the default state. You don't need a wedding to make me panicked about anything. Alright, so, the last thing that I thought was super sweet. I'm not sure if I'm going to take her up on this. But I went and visited my family yesterday for my sister's birthday, although I didn't talk to her as much as I probably should have, because when you have a big family, it's hard to talk to everybody. It gets crazy. But my sister-in-law, I was bringing up how I was kind of struggling to make invites, and I was like, oh, like I made it, and I totally screwed up, and I have to redo it, and I told her that whole thing, and I totally forgotten that she's a graphic designer. Like, I knew, but I sort of forgot in conversation. And she's like, oh, do you need help? I could help you with that. Like, I'm totally fine doing that if you just want to send me your ideas and, like, whatever. And I'm just like, I was like, I can't ask you to do that. Like, I hate, like, I've had people offer to do things, and then I just feel terrible accepting it, and I feel like I need to, like, throw money at them, or just be like, no, don't, it's fine, that's an inconvenience. But at the same time, it might be nice, because the only thing I have planned is just like, black and white, and just print it with whatever font looks the best, and that's it. But if she had, like, a cool design that could go on it or something, that would be really neat. So I might actually take her up on that and just send her ideas. And also just always with my, like, very paranoid, just like, you don't have to do this. If you don't want to do this, just let me know. I'll just do it myself. Don't worry. But it's sweet that she offered, and I appreciate it a whole bunch. So we'll see if I actually take her up on it. I know my maid of honor actually said, like, oh, I might ask her to do invites for the shower, and I was like, oh no, they're gonna look better than my invites. So I suppose if she does ask her, and then she also does my invites, I guess it'll be matching. I guess it'll be the same quality for both, if that's how it works out. That's all that we have wedding-wise. We still have our scheduled, like, wedding meetings that we have from now on Tuesdays, so nothing has really come up since then. I've read the ceremony once, and I thought of some new things that I should maybe include in there, or something that, like, we should do a little differently. I do want to read through it to see how long it is, because I do only want like a 15 to 30 minute ceremony. Then again, we are doing personal vows, so those might be extra, but I'm hoping not too much extra. We're gonna try and match them and send them to our officiant and ask him, like, do these seem decent? Are these comparable? Are they similar length? Are they similar tone? Should we change stuff? So I'm not too worried about it. I made a note in there, like, try to keep the vows to, like, a minute or two, and anything extra we can just make a speech at the reception, because I know we're both wordy. We both like to just continue talking, which is why these videos, I feel like, get so long, because I get sidetracked and I just keep talking forever and ever. But the vows will be nice, because I'll have it written in front of me, and so hopefully I won't deviate too much from what I've already written. But that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my breakfast. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Bye!